My bill adds an exemption under the Freedom of Information Act to prohibit the public disclosure of a sexual assault survivor identity when they file a civil action anonymously. There are two classes of public records, those subject to disclosure and those exempt from disclosure. And generally, all records are subject to disclosure unless specifically exempted. Currently, there are 25 distinct categories of public records that are exempt from FOIA. And this includes information of personal nature if public disclosure of the information would constitute and clearly unwanted invasion of an individual's privacy. My bill would create a distinct exemption for someone who proceeds anonymously in a civil action in which the party alleges that he or she was a victim of sexual misconduct. There is already precedent for such sort of protection. Under the Crime Victim Rights Act, a minor's name, the names of the individual, identity of the minor, victims of sexual crimes and child abuse are exempt from disclosure of FOIA. My bill would expand on this precedent and extend the protection for identities of adults. Often survivors live in fear of retaliation, and this sort of fear goes even further than retribution from their abuser. So survivors have real concerns about what happens if their name was released to the news or public and how this would impact their education, career, daily life within their community. If a court is allowed a plaintiff to proceed in litigation anonymously, and they have conducted the appropriate balance test to determine if the court's transparency outweighs the harm to litigants, the plaintiff's identity should not be subject to disclosure. It takes incredible strength for a survivor to come forward about what has happened to them. But we must remember that each person's situation is different, and each survivor will be on their own path to healing. This bravery is sacred and extremely delicate, and it should not be endangered by a FOIA request. This bill contributes to the overall common sense policies that have been included in the bipartisan package to ensure survivors in our states are protected and able to have their unique and individual needs met.